Ron Hextall has been cooking it up this week. That's another great move. He puts Brock Mcginn on waivers. Also, Mark Friedman too. But Friedman's more for, they have too many defensemen on the roster. Whereas Brock Mcginn is purely to try and clear up cap space, similar to putting Kapanen on waivers earlier this week. 1 week ago today, the Penguins were stuck there with the worst third line in the NHL. McGinn, Carter, Kapanen. I'm going to have nightmares about the line. And within a span of a few days, both Kapanen and McGinn are waived. Unfortunately, Carter will never get waived. He does have a no movement clause, but that doesn't matter. At least we know the line will never be touched again, will never be put together again. And it's very interesting to see if Brock McGinn gets claimed on waivers. A few days ago, when Kapanen was put on waivers, I was leaning towards no one claiming him. Just $3.2 million. Who's trying to take on that cap at this time of year? But I was shocked when the Blues took him. This one would surprise me even more. I just see no reason for a team to take on Brock McGinn, but you never know what other GMs see in players. The thing with Kapanen, you can always play the argument of it's still a youngish player, right? 26 years old, could still do something if given the right opportunity. Whereas Brock McGinn, the guy's left that territory of he's still young, he could do something. He's set in his ways. Brock McGinn is Brock McGinn. There's no changing him. But you never know. With the chance to pick him up for free now without giving up any assets, maybe a GM looks at that like, you know what? We need a penalty killer. We need a bottom six player. And hopefully they don't look at the stats and don't see that he has a 26-game pointless streak. Don't look at that and just look at the fact that he plays on the penalty kill. General managers get crazy with those type of things. They see PKers, they see guys who block shots, and they're like, we need that. So hopefully they just look at that and then claim him, because if they look at his stats and what he brings offensively, they might want to undo the claim. Hopefully it's too late by then. But no, the truth with Brock McGinn is he's not really a terrible player. He just really sucks offensively. And, we all proved that last game when everybody scored. I mean, Jeff Carter, Brian Dumoulin, both scored minutes apart from each other, and Brock McGinn was nowhere to be found. The guy didn't even get a point in the 7-goal performance. Obviously, offense isn't everything. I know that. But it's just when you're on the third line and you're getting paid to somewhat be a third liner, you need to produce somewhat. You can't be going 26 games without a point. And with Mark Friedman and Brock McGinn getting sent down, if Brock McGinn gets claimed, which I don't think he will, but if he does, the Penguins will have $5.5 million of cap space. That's more than enough to do something at the deadline. And if he doesn't get claimed and just goes to the AHL, which is what I think will happen, then the Penguins will have just cleared $1.1 million, which will give them a total of $3.7 million, which is still something you can work with at the deadline. This really excites me. And a week ago today, I thought Ron Hextall was this dinosaur GM, just afraid to do anything. Or even worse, maybe he didn't even recognize the problem. I was afraid he actually valued the third line of Carter, McGinn, and Kapanen. They end up waiving Kapanen, and a few days later, they end up waiving Brock McGinn. Again, I never thought I would see the day where Ron Hextall would do that. So it does give me kind of hope that he's not a terrible general manager. He actually does recognize the problem. And now for the first time in forever, I'm actually looking at Ron Hextall with some sort of hope. Before I was looking at him like, this guy does not know what he's doing, and he's going to run this team to the ground. That might still be true, but now at least I'm looking at him like, all right, Ron, go ahead, do something, cook, show what you're going to do at the deadline. Because as of right now, I do believe the Penguins add by subtraction. Just with McGinn, Kapanen off your team, the bottom six is a bit better because now guys like Drew O'Connor, Ryan Poehling, when he's back, are going to get a little bit more ice time, more opportunity. I still think this bottom six is pretty bad, but the thing now, it's missing something. With McGinn and Kapanen getting waived, you look at it like it's missing something. It's empty. The bottom six is not complete. And with the cap space cleared up, it's obvious Ron Hextall's not done. He's going to do something. And depending on what he adds at the deadline, this team can really improve big time, right? It's all it takes is a bottom six change. You see, all they needed was some bottom six production. They finally get it for the first time in maybe 2-3 months, and they blow out Tampa Bay 7-3. And I was worried. I even tweeted that maybe Ron Hextall was going to see that 7-3 win and be like, you know what? It's over. I built a great team. We're not going to do nothing. But right after that, he waives Brock McGinn. So I'm still hoping that he's working the phones. He's going to bring in some help. And what I really like about this, forget that he's bad and, makes too much money. You have to hold players accountable. And, if Brock McGinn just stayed in the lineup the whole time, if you're a guy like Heinen, O'Connor, Blueger, anybody else in the bottom six, and you're looking, how is this guy still in the lineup after doing absolutely nothing? Sometimes these guys got to get held accountable, and when they get moved after not performing, it kind of alerts everyone else, like, we got to start performing too, because we could be the next guy out. We could be waived, because Ron Hextall has shown that if you're not performing, you will get waived. He's shown it this week with Kapanen and now Brock McGinn. I really like that because, if nothing happens and you do nothing, then everyone else will be like, well, if this guy's not performing, I don't really need to perform. I'm getting paid for the season. I'm going to be, guaranteed my 10 to 15 minutes of ice time. So I'm just going to come, light skate, do some cardio, and go home to my wife or kids or girlfriend or whatever. But this move now shows that you have to perform, because Ron Hextall has a history of waiving you if you don't. So, the players will work a little harder because they know the roster spot is valuable. If you don't perform, you're out. Someone else will take your spot. That's where my frustration the whole year was coming from with Ron Hextall. Like, how do you give these guys roster spots and guarantee them having roster spots when they're just not performing? It's a bad message for the rest of the guys. But now he's answering that, and he's waiving the guys that aren't doing anything. And overall, I really like that by Ron Hextall. We have to compliment the guy when he does good. And again, this was his own mistake, kind of like Jim Rutherford getting rid of his guys whenever he would make stupid trades or signings. But like I said with Rutherford, I don't care about your mistake. Just fix it. And right now, he's attempting to fix it. That's all that matters, because this team can really improve with the right players added. From what they are now to what they could be, it's almost exciting thinking about it as a fan, but it all depends what is done. It's not guaranteed that they're going to be better, because they can make trades that are even worse than Brock McGinn and Kapanen, right? I still don't trust Ron Hextall fully. I need to see what he does, and depending what he does, that could change my whole opinion on him. I might come in my next video and tell you guys I'm the biggest Ron Hextall fan, or he sucks and he should get fired. One of the two is going to happen. It all depends on what moves he makes. So let me know in the comments, did you guys think Ron Hextall had it in him to do moves like this, waive guys like Kapanen and Brock McGinn? Let me know who you think they might trade for. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.